Hi, I'm Althea Harper, and today I'm going to show you how to create the fast mold peplum top. Now before you get worried, I'm going to show you in a few easy steps so you don't have to be an expert sewer to achieve this look. We're going to start with just your basic kind of rib stretch tank top. The reason being is if you're like me, you probably have a ton of these in your closet, or if not, you can stop at Old Navy or somewhere similar and pick one up for just a couple dollars. Also, the stretch allows you to kind of pull on and off your head without having to create some sort of closure or add a zipper or things like that that can really complicate the process. Now the peplum that we're going to be doing is the peplum that kind of comes out on two different sides. We're not going to have it go all the way around for the same reason that we're using the stretch top, is that we want to embrace it and allow us room to actually use the stretch without, again, having to put in a closure. So for the actual peplum, I picked a medium weight woven fabric. Now that's really important to be able to get the volume that you need for that peplum. I took 4 pieces of fabric, laid them on top of each other, and then really found the shape that I wanted by kind of taking that square and then cutting for what I did want. So I wanted a little dramatic, so I wanted the peplum to hang down a little bit, and then also a pretty steep side so that I was able to, again, get that volume coming out. Now we'll be able to create this peplum without actually having to use a needle or thread or a sewing machine at all. Now when we attach to the shirt, it'll be a little different story, but for the most part, we can do this with just a grate iron. We're gonna use the Rowenta ProMaster. This iron has a really great longer burst of steam, which really allows for the iron to glide and give really great results. So I want to start by taking 2 pieces of the fabric and then taking the longest side, that diagonal side, and we're going to create a seam with them with just using the stitch witchery. So we'll lay that down, get it the exact length of the seam. We don't want it any longer because if it is, then that stickiness can kind of get down on the towel or ironing board. We just want to keep it to the fabric. So I'll place that down on the bottom. And then lay the other diagonal end right on top. And then we'll just get that great, as you can see, that great steam come out, and you just slide it right on there, press the steam, and it'll really bond those two together. Our next step is we're going to finish the ends. So that'll give it a really clean, finished look. And then we'll just go ahead and do exactly the same thing to the other side. And now for the last of the stitch witchery, we're going to do the hem at the bottom. So we'll measure it all out. And then, because we're going around this curve here, we'll just want to do a few little cuts to make sure that we're able to turn it successfully without creating bunching, which sometimes can happen when working with this medium weight fabric. that part we're not going to want to use stitch witchery with the stretch fabric of the t-shirt, because when you pull a t-shirt it can pull a stitch witchery, and we want to make sure that, you know, we can take it on and off with no problem. So I'm going to use a sewing machine, but you could just as easily use a needle and thread for this part of the project. You're going to want to do it upside down, so that way we're not going to see the raw edge. We want to avoid that raw edge. So we can use the pins to really keep this in place when sewing. And you can use this step whether you are using a sewing machine like me, or if you decide to use just a hand needle and thread. When using the sewing machine, you're going to want to do the zigzag stitch because it allows for some give with the stretch fabric, and even if you're doing a hand sewing, kind of try to mimic that. So now that we've finished that, all you have to do is mimic exactly what we just did again to create a peplum for the other side. And here we have the finished product. In a few easy steps, you're able to transform your basic tank top into a really fashionable peplum top.